Morning guys, Len from Mercury Man Garage here again. Today we're gonna put the deck lid on the Cyclone one-man style. This is normally probably a two-person job, but we're gonna just try it by myself. Got a blanket down to protect what little paint I got there. But hey, it's another beautiful day here in Michigan, and we're gonna put the deck lid on. All right, as you saw from that short clip, it's definitely a two-man job. You definitely don't want to do this on a freshly painted car or anything with nice paint, because it's going to drop down on that back panel and probably do a little damage to the corners, and you don't want that. So it's probably a two, maybe even three-man job with a finished car, but I just wanted to show you guys, it can be done. I probably already know that, but if you got something that don't have a good paint job on it, you can do it yourself. And it's just temporary until I get more parts. I got weather seals coming in, and I just wanted to get that deck lid on so I could drive this thing around a little bit. But as you saw, I struggled getting those bolts in. Yeah. You almost need something to hold the deck lid up while you're threading in the bolts. Your arms just kind of wear out after a while. You saw me switching arms, but I got 3 bolts in and it's holding. So one more to go, and then the alignment, and we'll go from there. All right, I thought I'd stop here and just tell you what happened. I was putting in that fourth bolt and it wasn't going in right. And it kept getting tighter and tighter, and I kept turning and turning. Probably shouldn't have done that. Should have stopped right away once I felt some resistance. And yeah, I backed it out, and then I ran a tapping guy through there and cleaned it up, and that worked great. Yeah, you guys know how it is with these old cars. Rusty bolts, things like that. And probably should have done all 4 nuts and bolts and cleaned them out real good, but the other 3 went in decent. The 4th one gave me a little trouble, but we got her fixed. Continuing on here with the alignment, and try to get it straight as I can and hook up the electrical, and we'll go from there. All right, we're stopping here again. We had another issue. I was hooking up my trunk light here, and it works. See, there's the light. But I walked away and saw the light was out, and that came off. So we're gonna fix that quick a second and try not to let it touch anything metal. But yeah, we're gonna get that fixed before I go any further. But just a little tip here. When I was putting the deck lid on, tightening up the bolts, you see those little star washers. They kind of leave an impression in the trunk bracket there, the hinge bracket. And to do a rough alignment, you just line it up with those holes or those impressions. That's what I did for now, and you can kind of see the impressions there on both sides lined up with the star washer. So that gives you a rough idea on where you need to put this. Then after that, you can do your final tune-up adjustments to get it where you need it. But I think it's going to be good right where it's at for now. But first job is to get that electrical fixed. All right, we got that fixed. It's not perfect. I know you guys are probably thinking, probably should solder those connections, and I probably will eventually. I just want to get things running right now, and so I can drive it again for a little bit. But light's working, seems to be pretty solid again. And now we're gonna go back to aligning the deck lid. All right, I lowered the deck lid to see where my initial alignment's at, and huge gap on that side, and no gap on this side, very little anyway. And I looked underneath, and remember how I mentioned those star washers? You can kind of line up your initial adjustments by that. Well, another trick is right in here. You can see the old paint. Before I painted the underside, there's a little spot there where you can also use that as your fine initial alignment of the hood from side to side. So what I need to do is loosen up those brackets or the bolts one more time and try to align that unpainted line with the hinge bracket. On this side, I don't know, looks like it's pretty good over here, so maybe just that one side might do it. But let's give that a try and see where we're at. Seems to be a little better. Helped a little bit, very little, but I think both all four bolts need to be loosened up again, and then the whole hood slid to the left. And this is where, again, it helps to have multiple people because now the hood wants to drop every time I loosen a bolt or both bolts on both hinge brackets. So we're just going to play around with it a little bit longer. We'll get her. All right, well, I think we may have got her pretty straight. One more quick tip here. I'm full of tips today. I used these 2x8s underneath. When I loosened up the 4 bolts, I just slid the 2x4 or 2x8s underneath the back side of the deck lid there to keep it from dropping. And well, that was my extra pair of hands, so that worked out great. But one thing to remember before you lower the deck lid, make sure to remove those, because if you don't, you might damage the rear of the deck lid. I almost did that, so I guess that would be another tip. Anyway, I'll shut the deck lid here and show you where we're at, but it goes nice and smooth, and pretty straight gap all the way on that side. This side might be a hair narrower on this side. We could use a little more adjusting, but the lip on the back side looks good. I think I'm going to leave it as is. But that's today's video, guys. Just some tips on how to do a deck lid by yourself. It's not that big a deal, especially if you have an old beat up car like this. You can do it by yourself with some 2x8s and maybe a tap and die set, some towels, blankets. You can get her done in an hour or less. But like I said, if you have a fully finished car like that one, you're gonna need 2 or 3 people to help you, because you don't want to damage that paint job. That's a lot of money and a lot of work right there. But anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up for today. I hope you all have a great day, and we'll catch you on the next one.